What is your name?
My name is Beatrice Dillon.
Okay. Where are you from slash born?
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was raised in Seattle, and then I returned to Pittsburgh to graduate from high school. And I have been in the state of California for 35 years.
What do you do?
Right now, I'm a student at SFSU, um, and my major is criminal justice, and my minor is counseling.
Uh, Talk to me about your family. Like, do you have any siblings, parents, grandparents?
Um, I had 7 brothers and 2 sisters. 2 of my brothers passed away last year. Um, and what was the question?
Parents, grandparents,
Oh,
aunts,
I really don't have
uncles.
anybody alive except for I have both my sisters are still alive, and I have 5 brothers still alive.
So, sounds like a big family. What was it like growing up with your family up until like, age 10?
I only remember growing up with them until age 5. And we lived on like a main fairway. We lived over a laundromat. The guy that lived above us, he was a taxidermer. So he used to give my sister and my older brother these stuffed animals and stuff, raccoon hats. And then every year we used to get these little chicks for Easter, real live chicks. And but my brother was crazy, so he used to put them out on the side and they just drop over. Yes, he killed the animals. We lived next to an empty lot where we used to play Tarzan and Jane because that was what was on at the time. Tarzan was really big back then. Other than that, candy was for a penny you could get a bag of candy. What?
What about
And
what about growing up in Seattle? What was,
Seattle was different. I had friends, and I was actually a tomboy, so I played a lot of sports. I was very good in school. I learned how to knit and sew and do all the little girly things, but I really liked playing baseball and basketball and climbing trees, and I was a tomboy.
um, yeah. Can you name off some historical events that happened around that time?
Um, when I lived in Seattle, the death of John F. Kennedy. I remember the the riots in Alabama about the bus situation. I remember the Olympics was a big thing. White World of Sports was like the thing. Let's see, the astronauts walking on the moon. Um, Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. Watching that on television. Let's see what else. Um, I said the death of John F. Kennedy, right? His brother. I was there when his brother died. Let's see what else. The Vietnam War had started. Black Panthers was a big, big thing. The kidnapping of Patty Hearst. Let's see what else was going on at that time.
Who was Patty Hearst?
Patty Hearst, the Hearst family owned San Francisco newspaper. He was like the big guy, very rich, very affluent in San Francisco history. His daughter, um, she was like, she just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They broke in, they kidnapped her, they held her captive. And it was with the Sindanese army, I believe, at that time. Um, they recruited her to a bank robbery. There's film of her. She served a lot of time in jail, but she eventually got out and started her life, and she's been doing very well.
Um, excuse me. Talk to me about somebody that was close to you, like a best friend, one of your
Oh,
siblings, parents, grandparents,
well, my
whatever.
best friend was Renee Johnson. We did everything together. We got into a lot of trouble. We did some illegal things that kids aren't supposed to do. We traveled to Canada without a passport, no
Hmm.
ID. I don't even know how we got back, but we did. Um, we graduated together, but we went to different colleges, and I don't know what happened. We ended up, I moved out here and got married, and she stayed in Pittsburgh, and we kind of lost touch over the years.
And now, would you say this Canada trip was the one thing you'll never forget with her?
Oh, no.
What was the event that you will never forget?
Oh, the one event was where we went to, it was called Kennywood Park. We spent the day there. We made our own clothes. We drove there, and then we left that night and drove to Penn State. And we got to stay with my cousin and everything. We weren't supposed to be, we were only supposed to go like 20 miles, but we went all the way up to Penn State and we stayed a whole week.
Um, so let's talk a little bit more about high school.
Okay.
So, what high school did you go to?
Peabody High School.
Can you say that a little bit louder?
Peabody High School.
Okay. And what was it like there?
It was the first interracial school. It had a little of everything. It was located in like East Liberty was like a sub city where a lot of the buses and stuff did changes and stuff. So it was a little city in itself, um, but it had a high school. It had a lot of Italians on one side, a lot of Jewish people on the other side. A lot of the African Americans was like in the surrounding area. It was there wasn't a lot of gangs in that area. There was a monastery not too far from there. There was I'm trying to remember what else was in there. Oh, we used to eat breakfast at the monastery. If you wanted to become a priest, you it was right across the street from our school.
Um, Going along with high school, what was your taste in fashion? Were you a hippie? Did you have an afro? Uh, like a little Rastafarian symbol, things like that.
You weren't allowed to have a lot of that stuff.
Mm.
They would make you change shirts if they had writings on them. You weren't. I had an afro. I had an afro.
Did
I
you have a pick
wore.
in this afro?
My afro was pretty big. In fact, it's a part of my graduation picture.
Mm.
Um, Also, I wore hip huggers, not like with the way we had hips. I don't know what you guys got now. It's still too much bone.
Mm.
We weren't allowed to show our navel. You weren't allowed. You can only show so much skin between midriff. Um, you wore big old apple hats. You wore a lot of jeans. There was a lot of studs, lots of studs that went around like back then. Tie dyes was a big thing. Everybody wore something tie dye or dashikis. They were called dashikis.
Mm. Um, let's stay on the topic of high school. What other events happened while you were in high school? What were some of the big events happening at the school, on the East Coast or the West Coast or wherever you're at?
Um, Rap was just starting. We had the Fabulous Five that came to the school. They were they were just starting in rap. It wasn't that big was then. Reverend Jesse Jackson came and talked to us about voting. Um, uh, Martin Luther King's son gave a speech in our city at our city hall, but he came to our school to visit because we had like the number one basketball team at the time.
Mm. Okay. Um, what were some of your top goals after graduating high school?
Oh, one of my goals was to travel the world, be a high fashion designer, and run away from my family.
Mm. And have you succeeded on any of these goals?
Well, let's see. I started my own family. Um, I have done some traveling, not a lot, not with the traveling that I like to do. And I did finish fashion design school, but I did not um, continue the career in it.
Yeah. What was your reason to coming to the San Francisco or the West Coast?
Oh, my husband was a native here.
Yeah. And how did you meet your husband?
Oh, we met first at Playland. We met a second time in Canada. We met a third time in Seattle, Washington. We were married here in San Francisco.
Okay. And just to kind of wrap it up, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
Oh, my children going to SF State.
Can you say that one more time?
My children, my grandchildren, and going to SF State.
Okay. Is there any last minute reflection that you want to say? You know, anything else
Oh, well, about myself or just anything?
about yourself? Anything? Just
I wish I had Halle Berry's body, and no, I like Pam Grier.
Pam Grier.
Oh,
Okay.
the thing is that back when I was growing up, a lot of the movies were like Pam Grier was like Superfly and Cleopatra Jones. Those were our movies back then, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Our music was cooler than your music here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to say thank you. Appreciate you for letting me interview today. And yeah.
Yeah, next time you think I could, do this when my hair is done and I've got full makeup. I would
Okay.
appreciate that.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye bye.